It has been a while since you have seen us here on the Geek Stack podcast. We apologize. Life is busy. We're not just sitting in front of our computers waiting to record new videos, and the geek space moves really fast. So it's kind of impossible for us to keep up and work real jobs. We're not just YouTubers. We actually do real stuff in real life, but here we go. All right, here we go, Geek Stackers. We are back up.
What it do? What it do?
You know what it is. So I'm gonna let you lead.
What it is.
There's a bunch of things going on in the geek space.
There is so much going on. We've missed a lot.
So talk to us. What you got?
All right. So first thing on the chopping block, Nintendo.
Okay, what you got?
Haste to succeed. So the new Metro game that came out recently, right? You know the remake.
Been doing well. Yeah,
it's been doing really well.
Yeah,
but one thing that they did that kind of was a little, I would just say foolish on their part, was they kind of ghost released it. They didn't have any like rollout for it. They kind of were just like, oh yeah, during the direct, yeah, we're releasing this game today. And a lot of the physical copies are a little harder to find. And they're saying that it's not going to be a problem in a few weeks, but when you release a game like that does it very well, it's better to have a long rollout so you can like get numbers and see how many people exactly want the game. So they're having a little trouble getting the physical copies out, but a lot of people can get it digitally too. But it's doing really well, which makes me think that the new Metroid game is going to do even better.
I think they were not planning on the interest that people have for Metroid. What it seems like they underestimated people's love for the Metroid franchise, which I'm not surprised because it's been taking them so long to come out with the new Metroid Prime.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you.
Okay, go ahead.
Right there. Because everybody always says this when Nintendo delays a game, like, oh my goodness, they're delaying it. But every time it happens, it's always a good game in the end.
No.
Breath of the Wild released 4 years late.
You're misunderstanding what I'm saying. I'm not talking about the delay of Metroid Prime. I'm saying Nintendo probably didn't realize just how adamant and how deep the love for Metroid is from their fans. So I haven't bought the new Metroid Prime. I may, but from what I hear, it's like a whole new game.
Well, even Metroid Dread did extremely well when it came out, and you didn't seem like you were gonna like that game. I don't know if you played it yet though.
I did. I'm not. A 2D side scroller has to be.
Well, that's what Metroid started as.
No,
so
that's true, but it has to be a certain. The new Streets of Rage, I'm all in.
I knew you were gonna say Streets of Rage.
That new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game, I'm all in.
Oh,
that joint.
Speaking of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, did you hear? I
didn't just hear. I saw.
we gonna get. I don't care if we get
whatever.
AdSense.
Go with it.
So the new April O'Neil, they turned her into some pudgy, asexual. It's just weird.
So
it's just weird.
Is it possible that I don't know who designed the characters? It could have been someone black for all I know. I don't know.
Right.
Is it possible that what we're seeing, which is actually, look, I'm not one to throw the race card, but is actually kind of racist if this is the caricature they have of black people.
Women.
Yeah, right.
Look, okay. So here's my gripe with it, right? People are like, oh, well, April O'Neil's supposed to be pretty, you know, and a lot of the responses will be like, well, this is a pretty black. I'm like, look, I'm not saying that the character design isn't good, but you know that there are some sisters. There's some sisters that look.
Yeah, they could have look
crazy.
Yeah, they could have came up with a better
to the
design.
point, right? To the point, like in this particular adaptation, she's a teenager, so it's not really nobody really cares, right? But the fact that they're race washing the character, and I will say this, I've noticed this for the last 10 years, they are taking redheaded characters and turning them into black people, like a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
I don't really.
I'm thinking to myself, I'm like,
is this on purpose?
No, something not. That's what I'm saying. Like, look,
what are you going
rearrange
for?
the letters. You rearrange the letters of ginger, and it's like, I feel like they're doing this on purpose. It's got to be some type of sick joke.
I didn't even think about that
because I was thinking because this is stuff I think about. Like I'm an insane person, right?
That's a weird
This
combination.
Am I wrong? Like, how many ginger characters
Well,
do you know that they've race swapped?
I can't
Wally
say,
West.
Well, yeah. Dang. Yeah, you got me. You got me. I was
doing
trying to.
it. Batwoman.
Oh man, dang. Yeah.
Look. Listen, I'm not saying they're doing it on purpose. I'm just saying the amount of ginger characters they keep replacing with black people is a little weird. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Like, my biggest thing is not that. It's the caricature that they have of, or what it appears to be the caricature they have of black people.
Well, yeah,
in general, and black women specifically, because
I think it's more racist doing that than not having a black character in the first place.
I would agree to have a caricature of what you think this character is, or what you think this character is supposed to be.
A lot of my issues when stuff like this will happen is like, I don't know how you'll feel about this, but this is how I feel about it. Whenever I see stuff like that, I'm like, you guys are just taking sloppy seconds. Why not create your own characters that are compelling and good?
No, I
know, because it's never made sense to me. Like, there are certain times where it will happen in media, and I don't really care because they don't make that the focal point of the character, right? Like the new James Gordon in the Batman, great actor for the role. He did an amazing job.
He did.
And it's because Matt Reeves wasn't like, hey, look, we have a black James Gordon. He was just like, here's the person I think portrays the character best, regardless of their race. That is it.
Yeah, so I was trying to find a video. I can't remember who exactly it was. I think it was Brandon Taylor. This was on the Rippaverse YouTube channel. And they interviewed, I can't remember he's like the operations manager for Rippaverse. And he said one of his favorite characters growing up was Static, and one of the things he brought up,
Static Shock,
is this was an original character. It wasn't a rebrand of another character that they tokenized, is the colloquial word used for this.
Yeah.
Now I don't necessarily, I'll make it be known, I don't necessarily have a problem with a character's race being swapped from black to white or white to black. It's a comic book.
But
it's
if
made
you make
up.
It the focal point,
yeah. If that's the focal point,
it's gonna piss me off. I'm gonna look at that. I'm gonna be like, I'm not watching this. I'm not reading this.
If you make a character black because it's like, yo, even though this character's not black, this dude was the best actor for this job. Like, he killed it.
I think my mic is catching my chair.
It is. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We good. We good in the hood.
Because I keep seeing my thing light up every time. I'm like, oh, bro.
We good in the hood. But
you got the high tech stuff.
I believe, I am fully convinced that most people would not have a problem with any character being race swapped, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
If it's legit, like, this was a great actor. We're turning this comic book. We're giving you the real life adaptation of this comic book, and this actor just killed the role to the point where, yeah, we know this character is typically Irish, but yo, this, African dude was the best actor, killed the role, studied the role.
Zoe Kravitz and the actor that played James Gordon, look, they were good. They were just really good at their roles.
I think they were. And a lot of people, go ahead. A lot of people complained about Zoe Kravitz little one-liners where they were a little, gave nod to a little.
That's
wokeness.
how it is. You're talking about they talk about that in Batman comic books.
But even
they literally mention that stuff in Batman comic books. That's not like,
for me, it was like Ant-Man and the Wasp, which you haven't seen yet, so I'm not going to spoil it.
I have not.
But there was a line
where something tomorrow.
There was a line that was said, and you're going to see it, and you're going to be like, "Oh, so that's it? That's all y'all got for wokeness? All right, I'm good."
I think that. Okay, so here's what I believe is going on, right? And we talked about this like several podcasts ago. People who aren't fans of a lot of the source material are invading the nerd space and turning it into something it's not. And I think that people within the space who just are so anti-woke, they're creating their own monsters. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
I agree.
Where they are taking everything and anything and be like, oh, this is woke. It's horrible. And it's like, well, hold on. Let's be logical here.
Pause,
like they're turning into the very people that they criticize for the past 6-7 years.
That is a fact. That is a whole fact.
And I think like the reason is because we have both watched it. Every nerd has watched these people come into our communities and change things for the worse. So I understand why they are reacting this way, but we just can't act like that. Like we can't operate like this because it hinders the progress of things that are actually good. Like Ant-Man and the Wasp, I'm hearing is actually a pretty decent movie.
It is.
Because so many people are hyper defensive and hyper aware of everything that's going on. They're not willing to give it a chance.
Ant-Man and the Wasp, in my humble opinion, is a very solid B-. Very solid B-. And I've said before, I could be convinced it's a B+. I could. It's not the greatest Marvel movie I've ever seen, but it's not the worst either.
I think Midternals.
Midterms. I think what you said is true. I think people are becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy in and of itself. Like, yo, we need to take a step back and stop just labeling every single thing as woke. There are woke things out there. I'm not denying that. Yeah. These things exist. But you guys are making it seem like it is every single thing in is woke.
And it's that's not the thing about it is a lot of the woke things, some of them actually have some merit, but they become hyperbolic with it.
They exaggerate.
Exactly. Yeah. So whenever someone who's so like anti-woke hears something that's actually a logical determination of something that's going on, they just immediately think, oh, this is some woke stuff, and they're just done. They're just out of it. They don't even want to hear it.
It's a double-edged sword. The wokeness got to the point where it's like, okay, you are focusing so much on some woke element of this comic book or whatever, sci-fi game or whatever, that I don't care about the storyline anymore. And it's not good, and I don't want to see it.
Yeah.
I've never played The Last of Us, but from what I've seen from the show, it's actually a good representation.
Yeah.
What it seems like a decent representation.
No, it is a decent. So I will, because people are criticizing the gays and like Ellie being gay, but that was in the game like 10 years ago. People are mad about something that is
right. That
is actually consistent with the source material.
You can separate your disagreement with a thing and still recognize, I don't like this, but this was in the game, so it is what it is.
Yeah,
still a good show.
I think that. So the two characters, the two dudes, people were mad about that. It was like in the games, it was more implied and it wasn't really explicit. They didn't have like a whole story and explanation fleshing out their relationship. Right. And so that was kind of added on, but it's not like, it's kind of like a non sequitur. It's like, it's not really an issue.
Now that one, the only reason I'll say with that one, okay, in any show like this, like post-apocalyptic, I think for the same reason The Walking Dead for me lost its savor, because
as soon as Glenn died, I was done.
Well, not just that, the focus became so like, look, I get it, it's a TV show, you're building on the character dynamics and the relationship dynamics, but when you do whole shows where it's just about the relation, I don't care gay or straight, this is not what I tuned in for.
Well, hold up, wait a minute. Okay, I happen to be a fan of rom-coms. Keep it real.
No. You're misunderstanding again. Well, okay. If I go to a rom-com, that's what I've gone to see. When I'm watching sci-fi, this is not what I came to see. There is relationships.
Like if I'm the Halo show, bruh.
Yeah. Classic example.
What is going on?
I don't care. Master Chief fighting alien.
Master Chief clapping cheeks. Sipping over some chick with colored hair.
Yeah.
I'm sick of this. This is not the Master Chief I grew up with.
Right. Yeah. Like you bugging. I did not tune in to see this.
Sorry, I didn't mean to scream, but that's just.
I tuned in to see Master Chief bust some alien skulls. Period.
Not
that's all.
Bust some cheeks. That's.
It was definitely. Yeah, and so that's what I mean when I talk about The Walking Dead. Like, and I'm not saying that this was an overt issue in The Walking Dead. I'm just using that as an example. Like, if I tune in to watch zombies, I'm not tuning in to watch a relationship drama. I don't care, bro. Mention it in passing, move on. A whole episode? Nah, you out of pocket.
Okay, so I'll have to stop you there because I did watch The Walking Dead up to a certain point. And there were episodes early on that did that same thing.
No,
I'm kind of fleshed out people's interpersonal relationships and how their dynamics work. I agree,
they did. I'm just saying, the reason I said I'm just using that as an example, not to say that it didn't happen. I'm not picking on The Walking Dead. I'm just making a point. Like, this is not what I tuned in. Okay, I get an example. Mandalorian. If there's a whole episode,
I have not seen the new season.
Oh man, it starts so good. If there's a whole episode of Mandalorian where they're going over some romance, bruh, I'm checking out immediately. Like,
now hold on. No, hold on. Let them cook.
Nope.
Now hold on. Now hold on.
Nope.
Wait a minute.
Nope.
Just let them cook.
Nope.
Just let them hold up. Just let them cook. Listen.
Nope. If they do, nope. They do it
depends on who it is.
Nope.
It depends on who it is.
I don't care.
I'm sorry. I'm disagreeing with you. It depends on who it is.
Now, I don't think
they have an episode about Mara Jade and Luke Skywalker, I'm watching it. I'm sorry. I'm watching it.
So
I'm watching it.
A whole episode with them just living on this farm and they're just talking.
Man.
And they're
listen, man.
Nah.
I'm sorry. I'm not.
We have to differ there because I'm not tuning in. That's not why I'm tuning into Star Wars.
Listen. It depends. My thing is, it depends on the character. Because there are certain characters where I'm like curious. I'm like, I wonder how they would progress in
when
normal
I tune
life.
into sci-fi, lightsabers,
you don't find joy. You don't find joy in the mundane. See, this is what's wrong with you millennials. You're always about the action and all the flashing lights. You gotta find joy in the mundane.
No,
come on.
No,
you never want to see Luke actually, do stuff on the hydrogen farm.
No.
See how the hydrogen farm works.
No.
See, this is why you win.
Yeah.
Why you're whack.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I'm very whack. I just want to see Star Wars.
As long as you know.
Lightsabers jumping around and phasers. Yeah, that's all I want to see.
That's wrong universe.
Yeah, I know. I'm just joking. Yeah. But yeah.
I get your point.
I'm just saying I understand. I understand people's criticism of that episode. Other than that, I think this show is pretty decent, in my humble opinion.
It is literally the best video game adaptation to date.
It hurts my soul that I can't say that about Halo. It really does.
343 was in charge of it, so
were they in charge of the show?
Some of the people who are really hyping 343 who recently left had a big hand in that show. Yes.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that show is.
I understand telling your own story, and I would have understood if they told their own story in a sense of fixing up some of the plot holes that the fall of Reese left in the story and like changing things around. I would have understood, as well as the plot holes in Ghost of Onyx. If they did it like that, where they just fixed things that were inconsistent with the games and the books, that would have made sense, and it would have been interesting to watch. But they were just like, let's do something completely different. And I was like, this is not what people fell in love with when they fell in love with it.
I think they could have literally stuck with the plot from the books.
Oh, yeah. But why would they want to do that? Why would they make a good video game adaptation? Nobody wants to watch that.
So you brought up a issue with Nintendo. And with them I don't think it was a problem, them kind of ghost releasing Metroid Prime.
It's not.
Can I bring up a theory?
It shows that they don't understand the fan base as a whole.
Can I give a theory, though? Okay. I think maybe you're right, and they don't understand the fan base. Maybe. So, two things. Nintendo's a business. Period.
Yeah.
Right? They are a business. What is the best way to bolster your stock price and make sure that the excitement and buzz about what you have coming next is up there?
Drop a heater of a game.
Without
Breath of the Wild 2.
Hold on.
Tears of the Kingdom in May.
Hold on. I got one better for you. In the video game world, good press and good news, even if it's sold in a bad way, is going to be good for you. And this is what I mean. Ghost release. Everybody's mad, but everybody's saying this game is dope.
No. So something else that's crazy that's been getting scrubbed off the internet is some stuff is leaking about a possible new Switch console.
Yes, I have seen.
And the Nintendo ninjas have been getting to work.
Oh yeah, they have.
They have been getting all of it off I was like, oh.
Yeah, so there's probably some truth to this. So
about to get real. Look, I'm trading my old one. I'm getting a new one.
I'm glad you brought that up because this is what I was leading to. What if Nintendo, in an effort to say, okay, Are our fans still excited about what's coming next? How can we gauge that? Easy. Let's not just remaster, let's rebuild the entire Metroid Prime game, updated, release it to people. If this does well, we know the fans are still rocking and excited, and we can push this next console.
Listen, I'm telling you, Dad. I told you a year and a half ago. I was like, let them cook. Let Nintendo cook. Let them do their thing. And you were like, I don't know. I mean, we'll see. Look, let them cook.
You're right. You did, and I was exactly as you proclaimed. I'm just like, I think that
because the surprise that you had when the Switch did so well, I think it's the same thing's gonna happen shocked. when the new console comes out, and if Metroid drops at the same time.
Yo, if here's
eating everybody's lunch.
Here's my thing: if the new console, it doesn't see Nintendo's figured out a magic sauce here. They don't have to beat the Xbox or the PlayStation in graphics, but if they can compete in such a capacity that people are satisfied, like like when I see the Switch
Crisis
and the last, I'm not gonna bring up Crisis just in general.
Okay, I thought you were because you usually do.
When I see the Switch and the last generation of consoles, I'm like, yo, the Switch held its own. No, it did not match PlayStation or Xbox in graphics, but yo, it was no slouch. And
so I will say this one caveat that I came to the conclusion of today.
Okay.
So one of my coworkers, he has had an Xbox One for a while, and he plays this one game, Apex Legends, and it's a newer game. And the one thing about systems and consoles is newer games tend to run worse on them, and you don't notice it until you see how it's supposed to run. Then you're like, oh, this is not supposed to be a pixel. You're actually supposed to be able to see the detail in this.
Well,
so it's like depending on the type of game that they run, which would explain why Switch doesn't have a lot of games. But something else I think is really big that would also bolster the fact that a new Switch console might be coming out is the Call of Duty contract.
That's a big
that's
deal.
trying to get worked out.
That's a
I have the last time that Nintendo was really had a Call of Duty game to date that was equal to like what was kind of going on with every other game was Black Ops 2. That was over 10 years ago.
Was that the one on the original Wii?
The Wii U.
The Wii U? Yeah.
The one on the original Wii was, I think it was Call of Duty 4.
Was it? Yeah.
Or World of War.
Remember. One of
but
those.
The Wii U had Black Ops 2. And that was the last time they kind of kept updates with it. But yeah, so it's been a hot minute since Nintendo was in the Call of Duty game. So if they can do that and they can run Warzone on the
you got a point.
Nintendo creates the ability to run Warzone on the Switch. You know how many people play Warzone?
Now, okay.
Millions.
So walk with me here. Again, this is my theory. Releasing Metroid Prime like out of nowhere, no real presser before. Yo, that's crazy, right? That seems nuts, right? Like, why would you do this?
But it's just crazy enough for you to believe it's part of a plan.
Well, not only that, it gives Nintendo a metric for the thirst of their fans, because you have to remember, they are a business. How do you know when to release the next Switch? The thirst has to be there or you're going to fail. And you can't fail after the original Switch. You can't. Nintendo cannot fail. No.
Well, they hold up before you say that. The Wii did amazing.
Look,
the Wii was one of their best-selling consoles.
Hear me.
And guess what happened? They still failed.
You're right.
I'm not. As a Nintendo fan who's been through the thick and thin, I'm not.
Let me finish before you.
I'll let you cook.
The reason they can't fail is because they cannot make that mistake again, or they will go the way of Sega.
Oh.
They can't. So that's what I'm saying. They
especially
can't
nowadays.
fail. They can't fail. There's not an option right now.
The only thing that worries me a little bit is since the death of Satoru Iwata, there's been a lot of people who are more. Actually, hold up. Let me make sure I'm not. Okay. Yes. Since the death of Satoru Iwata, there's been a lot of people moving in to Nintendo's higher ups and even the CEO as well, who are more business minded. And the reason Satoru Iwata succeeded so much with Nintendo and Nintendo succeeded so much is because he was a game developer that enjoyed playing games and that understood what other people want to play. right? And what would be like, oh, the user would like this, or like this would be a fun game to put out to people, or this system particularly will do well. Like one of the last things that Satoru Iwata was a part of was a Nintendo Switch, Breath of the Wild. The two things that pulled Nintendo out of the depths of the worst recession their company has seen since their inception.
So is your conclusion that they're headed for
my conclusion is I don't know what's going to happen, right? Because the people who are in charge have made a lot of decisions that have cost Nintendo a lot of money and that were actually not very good for the fan base. But they are doing things like this and they're releasing stuff that's cool. So it's like, I don't know. It really could just be a toss-up. They could just focus solely on money, screw themselves over, or they could keep releasing things that fans want to see and making a great user experience and do well. But
you know what?
I have faith that they'll do the right thing, but you don't know. I don't know.
I have confidence after this Metroid release. I'll tell you why I have confidence, because look, as much as I would love for a geek to take over the space like at Nintendo, it can't just be a geek. It has to be a geek that knows how to make money, because they're a business. Yeah. They are a business. They don't survive off love. They survive off money.
Well, yeah.
Right? So hold on. Walk with me here. This Metroid release shows wisdom on somebody's part, because do you know why it's hard to find a physical copy? That's on purpose.
People like the game. Well, okay.
Hold on.
I'll disagree. I'm going to disagree.
Hold on. Let me
did it on purpose.
I am convinced they did it on purpose. Let me tell you why. Ezekiel, what is the good reason that they released a physical copy of a game that, how old is Metroid Prime? That was GameCube.
So they remade it. So the thing about it is the physical copies came out a week after the digital ones.
Okay, you're still not hearing me. Why would they release a physical copy of a game that was released on the GameCube? Just put it on the store to download. Why release a physical copy?
Maybe you're right, and they are ramping up. I'm not gonna say you're not. Okay, but there's not really a date on the Metroid game. The earliest news we'll get is like maybe next year, end of this year.
You still not following me. Okay, if you create the demand and you restrict the supply, you create exclusivity, which makes
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you.
All it. You think it's a coincidence? Like, look, I know how this works, right? You let somebody leak some information about the new Switch, and then you have all of the ninjas, when other people start attacking it, take it down. You create the demand.
Well, okay, so the same thing happened when the Super Nintendo was starting to come out. There was a lot of information kind of leaking out, and they were like, "Oh, we don't have nothing planned for that," and then it dropped like a year later. So, my mindset about it is hope for the best, expect the worst, right?
No, they could drop the ball. Yeah, they could drop the ball.
They could horrendously fumble.
Yeah, I'm not
right. They can have a Tua level fumble. All right.
But I'm saying that this actually gives me some hope. Yeah, I think this is a reason for those who are staunch Nintendo fans. I'm a convert. I was a Sega guy. I always say this.
Hey, welcome to the dark side.
When Sega went out of business, it felt egregious to me to move over to Xbox or PlayStation.
The library of Alexander was burning down.
Yeah, it was like, yo, I can't switch to Xbox and place these new dogs on the block. Nah, I'm rocking with Nintendo. They was there from the beginning, but Nintendo is not above reproach. They could definitely drop the ball here. I'm not saying that it's impossible for them to drop the ball. I'm saying I think they realize they can't. Like, they can't. Yeah. They dropped the ball on this one. Nintendo as a console creator is done. They might still have games and put them out there.
I will say this, right? Nintendo is very smart in a way that they try to format what they do. So even if they do, quote unquote, fail, they'll still have some sort of revenue coming in. Like, even when they were doing bad, you know what was doing the best out of all of their systems? Yes.
The DS.
So that's why they created the Switch Lite. That was the reason. Yeah. Because they needed something to replace the DS. So I think that I don't know. It's
No,
who knows.
I'm telling you that they can't fail. They can't pull a Wii U. They cannot. Not that it's impossible for them to do that. They can't afford to. Let's put it that way. They cannot afford
I mean,
to.
they couldn't afford
Yeah.
it the first time, and they still did.
No,
So.
no, I disagree. I disagree because Nintendo was counted out when the original Wii came out. Like that was like, it was revolutionary in the sense that nobody thought Nintendo would do something like this, right? They did it. It worked. It sold gangbusters, way more money than they thought they were going to make. And let's keep it real. The technology inside the original Wii, it really wasn't all that outside of the motion.
Motion
control. It just
yeah.
really wasn't all that. The graphics weren't really
I think they were
great.
using an APU in that as well.
The whole thing was
GPU, CPU.
Yeah, it's graphics trash. Let's keep it real. But
what about Conduit was good?
Conduit was good. Graphics still trash. It was a good game with trash graphics. Let's keep it real. Which is why I always wanted them to remake it. But my point being is they made a boatload. I guarantee you that money that they got when they made the Wii is what went into the Switch, not the Wii U, because the Wii U wasn't really. The Wii U was like repackaged. Go ahead. What you got? You disagree?
Because at the point in time in which they released the Wii U, and during that string of years before the Switch came out, they were hemorrhaging for money. Like the CEO literally took a pay cut so they wouldn't have to fire any more people. They were like doing pretty bad for a hot minute. And then like the Switch was like their Hail Mary and it worked. That was it. That's what happened.
Okay, so then that goes back to my point. This is why it's possible for them to fail. They can't afford to. They cannot afford to pull. And so for that reason, the next console may not be on par technologically with Sony and Microsoft, but it might be close enough, like really close enough that people are like, all right, this will do.
Who knows?
This will do.
Off topic change. What's the comic book you're excited to read or you've been thinking about lately?
Man, I'm excited for ISOM number 2. I think Eric July said I think they finished writing.
Yeah, I'm gonna order that when it comes out because I didn't get it. I didn't get to get ISOM number 1.
You can still buy it.
Oh, it's SOL. You can?
You can still buy it. Yeah, you can buy cover.
I'm getting next paycheck.
Cover C. You can still buy cover C on the. All
right.
So yeah, I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the next Spawn Batman number 2. Definitely excited about that.
I'm getting that.
Yeah, I'm definitely.
I'm trying to. I need to find a comic book store here.
What is? Oh, I found this other one. We'll talk about that offline.
All right.
I'm looking for. What else am I looking for? Yeah, that's really it. Comic books are in a weird space right now where there's stuff coming out. This is why you gotta
go back in time and see older comic books that were
Oh yeah, no doubt. But see, I have a bunch of those older comic books because I was
no. I'm talking about like 2012, 2016. There's some good ones in there.
Yeah, I got a bunch of those. I started back up again during that time. So anyway,
you didn't.
I want some new good X-Men titles. That's what I want. I don't know if it's gonna happen.
Was it All-Star X-Men?
X-Men Gold, I think
X-Men
it was.
Gold,
I have
that's what it was.
X-Men Gold and X-Men Blue.
People loved X-Men Gold.
Yeah, I got the first few issues of X-Men Gold and X-Men Blue.
No,
I think
you got to finish X-Men Gold.
I think X-Men Gold, I got probably about the first 13 or 15 comics. Yeah. House of X. Do I have all of House of X? I don't think I have all of it.
House of X is really good.
Yeah, that's a good one. But yeah, I want. Oh! I almost forgot. They're rebooting Wildcats.
Oh,
yes,
with Jim Lee?
Yes, on DC. Ooh. I think, as a matter of fact, I take that back. I think they rebooted Wildcats. I think it's already started.
That's gonna be dope. I know. I remember you have the Wildcats number 1.
Yep, I got Wildcats number 1 through number 6. I want to say. I think they did reboot it. I just haven't picked any up yet. I might have to order some from Midtown Comics.
Gotcha.
Wildcats.
Yeah, a comic I've been looking at is Detective Comics number 0. I ordered it today. Actually, it's coming in tomorrow. Or out tomorrow with the 16th.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really cool. The story looked really cool, and I'm like, okay, I want to read this. It's dope.
Okay, yeah. So it looks like these are news items. I was looking for the books. I'm pretty sure they re-released on DC Comics Wildcats. So Wildcats, if I'm not mistaken, is now part of the DC universe.
Yeah, probably because Jim Lee's there. Well, they've kind of been like a part of the DC universe for a bit.
They have, because Grifter's
showed up.
Yeah, Grifter's been running around.
Grifter showed up in the Flashpoint movie, and I was like, Wildcats?
Yeah. That's kind of crazy. But yeah, so that's the things I'm looking for. I think comic books are due for a resurgence, because I think a lot of the creators that got lazy are I think there's a lot of independent comic books that have people on notice, because I never really paid attention to much independent comic books.
Dark Horse releases some good ones.
Bounding Into Comics kind of covers some of those independent creators, and when I see some of these stories, Comicsgate as well, I go on there and I see a lot of these independent creators, and I'm like, these comic books is actually dope. Like these are stories that I want to see. They're just not done by the big comic book houses, which I think that's changing anyway. With all the technology now, who really needs to get hired by Marvel or DC? Yeah,
you can probably get AI to do your cell shading for you.
Just get, you probably could. You saw a lot of things you get AI to do.
I'm telling you right now, pick up some manga. This is my segue to try to convince you.
In other news, as we were
come on,
talking,
look, listen. You know the art is good. So hard, Luke. You know it to be true.
Look, I am when it comes to comic books, I will admit, I'm not saying manga's bad, right? Because I don't know enough about it, but
I'm gonna have to leave the call if you say that.
But I love comic books. Like, this is what I grew up on. I'm not saying I can't change and won't change. I'm just saying comic books is what I love. It's like telling somebody who loves sci-fi, and sci-fi is going through a little dull moment. Oh, you got to try romance. It's like, I understand romance movies are good, but that's just not what I'm into. I'll just wait it out.
I mean, it's not really. I guess, man. I don't get
because
it.
I love both. Yeah, and that's fine. That's fine. But there's been enough good comic books, especially with my busy life, that it's just enough for me to keep me interested. Right? They're coming out with enough frequency that I'm okay. It doesn't have to be a banger every week. Like, that was the early 90s. It was like golden age hip hop. It's funny.
Okay, golden age hip-hop. I will say, I feel like a lot of that might have been influenced by nostalgia.
No. Let me back you up. That's not nostalgia. Jim Lee released arguably what is the best.
Oh, was it X-Men #1?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ever. As a matter of fact, it is. It's the highest selling comic book in history, if I'm not mistaken. At that same time, I'm almost positive that Jim Lee X-Men #1 is the highest selling comic book in history. I could be mistaken.
No, because we went over this. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like what, 18 million, 28 million,
8.2 million copies.
That's nuts for a comic book that was in 91?
1990. That's 30 some years ago.
Retarded. Now remember, at that same time,
you can't say that.
at that same time, Milestone Comics was released. Right? You had Static, you had Hardware, you had Blood Syndicate. These were dynamite comic books. At the same time, you had the release of this when Deadpool was introduced. This is when
Spawn.
Yeah, Image Comics came about. You got Spawn, Wildcat, Cyberforce. That when I tell you now, mind you, this is right around the time Nas is dropping his first album.
See, that's where the nostalgia part comes in. I feel like you're just putting the two things together.
What I'm saying is the golden age of hip hop and the golden age of comics were around the same time. That's the only reason I brought that up.
So, this is why I'll say this, right? Because I see like the golden age of underground hip hop and the golden age of video games in the same light. Because at the same time, Modern Warfare 2 is coming out. Modern Warfare 3 is coming out. You had Logic. You had Mac Miller. You had OCD Motion Twist.
I'm gonna tell you why I will agree with you.
I think a lot of it is just kind of fueled by nostalgia a little bit. Like, obviously there were some great comic books and some great artists that came out at the time, but I feel like that association where that was the last time something like that was happening.
No. That's not the point I was making. That's not the point I was making. I was just saying.
I was like,
no. I was just saying that it's interesting how those two things coincide, right? Just like video games, the explosion in video game technology, it exploded even more when computers and graphics cards, but when you go from the Super Nintendo to the Nintendo 64 and original PlayStation, yo, that was a
in like what 10 years?
That was a huge leap.
Yeah, they went from pixels to
3D. Almost like overnight.
64, yeah.
And that was that. Look, that was so crazy.
The interesting part about that is a lot of the mathematics behind modern graphics programming had been solved like back in the 70s, but they didn't have technology to be able to
utilize it. That's crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So a lot of the stuff that they use is some like 70, 60 years old.
That's crazy. That's really interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yep.
I know the thing that probably has Nintendo kicking themselves for till Kingdom Come is the fact that the original PlayStation was actually supposed to be. I think it was supposed to be a Nintendo
collab.
Yeah,
yes,
Nintendo and Sony.
Yes, and I think they had some type of like disagreement.
It was over CDs versus cartridges.
Yes, CD versus cartridges, and they were like, okay, kick rocks.
Yeah. Yeah, that was
PlayStation 2 ended up being one of the best-selling consoles of all time.
Yeah, PlayStation came and just knocked everybody off their square.
I should dust my PlayStation 2 off.
But
that's a vintage game console now. You know that?
That's crazy.
20 years old.
How much time
has insane.
Flown by. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nuts. I just saw a post on one of my social medias. I'm pretty sure it was Facebook with my original Sega Master System. And I was like, oh,
I think it's like 40 years old, huh?
Man, the Sega Master System came out and had to be the 80s. I want to say it was like late.
Did it come
80s.
out the same time as the Super Nintendo, or did it come out before?
Somewhere around.
Because I think it was when they were having that war back and forth with Sega and Nintendo.
I think Nintendo was first. I could be mistaken, but it was somewhere around.
No, I know Sega was first because people were complaining about the regular Nintendo, and they were like, "Well, we don't know if we're going to release a new system, this and that," and then they released the Super Nintendo later.
Oh,
to compete with what Sega was doing.
I don't remember the details. I wasn't paying attention to that back then.
I just watched documentaries on it. That's it.
Yeah, I understand. But so what are you looking forward to in comic books and/or manga?
Ooh, that's a good question. So somebody said that Hunter x Hunter might come back, but it's kind of up in the air because the writer is like sick.
Yeah, I'd read something about that
for a while.
Yeah, I've read something about that.
Comic books. I'm looking forward to Deadly Duo. I haven't read any of them, but there's like 4 of them out now. I gotta buy them because I gotta find a comic book store up here. And I'm also excited for a lot of the new DC stuff coming out because they're doing like a whole thing in DC, like Deceased. It's pretty dope.
Oh, what do you think about? I'm sorry, I almost forgot about this. Grant Gust just filmed his last episode of The Flash.
Thank the Lord, because that show got horrible quick.
Oh man, you went straight for the jugular. I didn't think you were gonna start out like that.
I love Grant Gust, but whoever's writing that show,
you know what I think it is, and I don't know if you ever listened to John Campy. I think that's his name, John Campy. He has a YouTube channel. He made a comment, and I think I agree with him. He said The Flash was 2 or 3 seasons too long. It should have ended way sooner.
I think it should have ended like a season after Savitar.
I agree.
Because Savitar was like the last decent season. It wasn't good, but it wasn't bad either. And then right after that, it just got crazy.
Yeah, it got
ridiculous.
I think they couldn't outdo themselves. Right? It's like, what are we gonna do now? How are we gonna outdo ourselves with this?
I think it's because the CW verse never made any money. So they were just trying to like do enough to break even.
Right.
Which is why they kept like pushing these shows out that sucked or were just like on their last leg. It's
Legends of Tomorrow.
Like that really old dog that's like about to die. You're just put the dog down, bro.
Yeah. Legends of Tomorrow was good for a couple episodes.
One
of the first
season. One season.
I don't even
first season was
think
good.
The first season.
First season was good. I'll disagree. First season was good. Second season,
it got too cheesy.
Yeah, and sometimes a little cheese is nice, but
Supergirl,
I'm a little lactose intolerant.
Cheesy.
That show sucked. That show was terrible.
It had some good episodes.
Horrible.
It had some good episodes.
There were like the episodes, like some of the episodes were the episode where they introduced Kai, and then when they had like I think it was Mr. Mixapitalik, they had him in an episode that was decent, but yeah, I didn't really care about the story.
Do you hear about all of the Star Wars movies getting canceled? Mm-hmm. Yo, they're canceling a lot of Star Wars. I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah, good. They've ruined. They've done enough damage. They've done enough damage for the past 7
don't
years.
let these people touch no more Star Wars
They
movies. Yo, okay, so answer me this. Answer me this. I've been trying to figure this out. I know that Jon Favreau doesn't want to take over from what I've read and heard, different reports.
No, he doesn't. He
but
should.
Man,
I'll pay him to take over.
Seriously, would somebody just give him the keys and let him drive? Like,
because I don't.
This is what I feel like. I feel like you have a professional NASCAR driver sitting on the sidelines with popcorn, and you got these amateurs that just got their driver's licenses driving the bro, what are you doing? This dude really
listen. I gave up on Star Wars a long time ago. There are some good things.
It hurts to say
but
that.
It's just there's a lot of bad too. Like Mandalorian, cool. Andor, all right, we got that, and the rest of it, I'm just like,
you didn't like
Clone Wars came back.
You didn't like Obi-Wan?
Obi-Wan was good. I think Obi-Wan was good. I think there were some things that they shouldn't really have focused on as much. Like, I didn't really care about Reva. I was kind of like, okay, cool. I want to know what's going on more with Obi-Wan.
To our point earlier,
and his fight with.
To our point earlier, Reva, original character, love that. But I think
she was not an original character.
Really?
So, what was the game? Oh crap!
See, so I didn't play the game, so you schooling me. So, school me. She wasn't original.
She was like a retelling of a character called I think the Ninth Sister.
Okay.
Yeah,
because
she had the same.
Comment back.
She had the same. I think it was Jedi Fallen Order.
All right, I take my comment back. So they tried to tokenize something and make it a thing.
Well, not even that. They just tried to remake the character, but because they didn't know how to tell a compelling story with the character, people just hated the character.
All right,
it was just,
I take it back.
If you play the game,
I tried to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Nah, because if you play the game, she literally acts like Ninth Sister. I'm like, this is okay. They just did it worse. Like in the game, it's good. It's compelling. You're like genuinely like, man, this is a really well written character. And then the show, you're like, bro, what is going on?
You know what I think? I think if they would have put her in another show that wasn't connected to Obi-Wan, it might have worked. But trying to connect her character to Obi-Wan, it seems like.
I think the part that pissed me off the most was when they were talking about how the Inquisitors didn't like her because she was black.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was stupid. I was like, are you kidding me? There are literally aliens with tentacles coming out their nose. Yeah. And you're telling me people are racist towards black people?
Universe far, far away.
Are you serious right now?
Yeah, they went a little
Apparently
too far.
the racism wasn't far away. I don't know.
Yeah.
BLM though,
That's hilarious. Yeah. And you know what? I can see that. I can see how they definitely went too far. And the problem that most people had, which it was a legitimate gripe, is they tried to overshadow Obi-Wan with her. And it's like, yo, this is...
And it's not... And people thought it was like, oh, it's a sexism. It's not even sexism. The show is called Obi-Wan, not Obi-Wan and Reva.
Not even that. I'll go one further. Okay, there's certain things you don't mess with. Obi-Wan is a storied mythical character. You don't mess with Obi-Wan.
I feel like Obi-Wan is literally intertwined into the American mythos.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. That's like when they tried to make Luke look like a punk. Like, nah,
bro,
homie.
That is not Luke Skywalker. I don't know who that was in those movies. Yeah. That was not Luke Skywalker. I don't know who that was. He literally did and said things that were contradictory to the things he did. Look, when he was trying to kill Ben, he literally spared his father because he saw the good in him. And you're telling me he came to that conclusion when he was like 19, but when he became like, 50 something, he was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna forget about that. He's less wise now that he's older. Are you serious?
So I'm gonna tell you where that was corrected, Jon Favreau. And that first season of Mandalorian, when Luke showed up, it was like finally we got Luke Skywalker. Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Right. Now
I was like, okay, this makes sense.
What they showed in the Book of Boba Fett, I get it. You know, that wasn't the focus. I think it was unnecessary for them to even add Luke into that show. I think it was. I know why they did it though. I know why they did it.
It was a boring show.
Well, not. I don't think that was the reason. I think the reason is they didn't want to spend too much time in Mandalorian building that, Grogu, Baby Yoda. I'm not calling him Grogu, Baby Yoda coming back.
Grogu.
His name is Baby Yoda.
Don't dead name him. Don't dead name him.
His name is Baby Yoda.
It's Grogu.
Baby Yoda. But Yeah, I understand that need, that desire not to focus so much on that in Mandalorian, because it would eat up a whole season. Him,
Yeah.
Grogu coming back, and I'm telling you, man, wait till you watch Mandalorian.
I'll have to see.
Oh,
I forgot
man.
it came out. There's so much stuff I miss. Having like an actual adult life is crazy. I'm gonna be honest.
Interesting, ain't it? How you can't
It
just
is.
sit around and.
Well, I mean, you can, but I gotta do my taxes.
Yeah, I got to do that too. Yeah, you just don't have time to do a lot of this stuff. Trust me,
Well,
I understand.
you do. I think that
Nah,
I'm
not just all day. Nah,
well,
not
no,
like
because I work for 8 hours.
right. Yeah, so it's not like it used to be where you like, I could spend all day binge watching. Nah, I might get an episode here and there, but yeah, ain't gonna be no binge watching nothing.
Yeah, especially because I'm trying to do stuff outside of work too. So it's like
Right. You don't have time. Life gets busy. That's
I'm gonna start doing Muay Thai too. So now it's like I'm that's it. That's my time.
And this is why we haven't gotten to this podcast, because life is busy.
We're making time now. We gotta. Well, I'm not gonna say we got a schedule. I'm gonna just say we figured it.
Yeah. We'll see.
Lord willing.
Yeah. There you go. That'll make it. But yeah. I don't know. I think Jon Favreau could. This is what I think. I think if they will just let Jon Favreau lead his Star Wars shows in whatever direction he's going to lead them, hold off on the movies, take a break, take a pause, let's
definitely
hit the bench. Don't release no more movies. Whatever Jon Favreau lays out is law. Do not go sideways to that. It is law. Whatever he's laying down in the Mandalorian and the Mandoverse, Star Wars law from this day forth.
People have been talking about like making petitions to retcon the sequel trilogy.
I'm with it.
Because I think they should. I think
multiverse.
I think they should. Star Wars. I think Star Wars should start over Mandalorian, and then everything.
I agree.
Else is gone.
I agree.
Only
100%.
2 movies that came out during that time frame that were actually decent was Solo, and
and it's crazy. People didn't like.
What was
Solo.
the other one? What was the one where everybody died? Rogue One. Yeah.
Rogue One was good. A lot of people complained about Solo and Rogue One, and I liked both.
They
of
were
those
good movies.
Yeah,
I was like, what are people talking? This is actually a decent movie. Childish Gambino as what's like Donald Glover as Mando or as Lando Calrissian makes so much sense.
It did. He fit the role. I was like, yes, okay.
Give it to him. Give him his Oscar.
Yeah, there you go. I think if they will take Star Wars back to what it once was, a space western. Like
instead of the Skywalker story.
Right. It is a space western.
It's like they turned a space western into an episode of the Kardashians.
Yes. And that's
I don't care about this family. Tell me what's going on in the universe.
Right. That's why I think The Mandalorian is so good, because you get the sense that even though they're focusing on this one character, we're getting the story of the entire Star Wars universe told through the eyes of this one character.
Yeah, because I think something that the sequel trilogy didn't do all that well was world building, right?
Rey, oh my goodness.
Because we're not talking. We can talk about that for an hour. We're not talking about that. Okay, we're talking about the world building in those movies as a whole, right? Like when they would mention things like Maz Kanata and talk about certain things in passing about the bigger universe, they kind of just were like, yeah, a little bit. But even in the older movies, it seemed like they took more of an effort to actually fill out the universe and make it seem like an actual universe instead of just like, this is something they're stopping by to tell the story of the Skywalkers.
You know why? It's because you couldn't hide behind special effects. And I really think this is what I mean. I think people get caught in what I'm going to call Michael Bay syndrome. Bright lights, explosions, sci-fi, special effects.
I got caught. Because the first time I watched all the movies, I'm like, that was okay. The visuals were good. And then when I came out, I was like a few days later, I'd be like, actually, it wasn't that good. So I'm just like, man, like it's like the blinders are off. The rose-colored glasses are no longer on your face. And you're like, oh,
it's funny.
A trash movie.
We were looking at something last week, and it was mentioned that, when you look at the old Star Wars movies, like the original trilogy, and you see like the visuals are even to
they
this
hold
day
up pretty well.
To this day,
they hold up pretty well.
And
like
I think that's one of the few things that goes past nostalgia. Like when people watch Star Wars, it's like, all right, it's not just nostalgia. This is really a good movie. Like this is a space western told.
I do
in
think
such
the
a good
lightsaber
way.
choreography in the newer movies is better.
No doubt, 100%.
One thing that enraged me with what was it? Rise of Skywalker was the last movie called?
Man, look,
Rise
I
of
already
Skywalker.
know what you're gonna say.
Those lightsaber fights were horrible. They were bad. Like after the epic climax you see in the prequel trilogy in Episode 3, amazing career, one of the best on-screen fights I have ever seen. And then to get the screaming match between Rey and Ben on that ship with all the water, and then like she slashes him, and then she heals him, and then runs. I'm like, this is like this. Like even the fight scene didn't seem all that well choreographed. I'm like,
So,
I could have did this.
Focusing. Okay, so I'll tell you what I think. I think originally they were writing Rey to be Han and Leia's daughter.
And they switched directors mid-series.
Yeah, and that is, it just turned out to be the trashiest. Now, even with that said, Rey wasn't a well-written character.
Well, she had no depth, right?
None. I wasn't interested. I was completely disinterested in finding out about her.
They spent more time developing her powers than they did developing her all-around character.
I agree. And
it robs the act, because Daisy really seemed like she really had a good time like playing the character, and she was invested. But it robs the actor of being able to play a portraying character, or play a compelling character.
No, yeah, and there's so many things they did. I'm trying to
listen. There's 10-hour videos talking about everything wrong with the sequel trilogy. We could go on for hours.
But there's one that really grinds my gears, and I'm trying.
I know what you're gonna say.
I'm trying to. I can't remember John Boyega's character. Yeah,
Finn. They robbed him. They took the money out of his wallet and spent it in front of him.
You knew he was gonna be a Jedi. You knew it.
It would have been such a plot twist. Look.
You could
imagine
it.
Imagine, right? Imagine this rewrite. Okay. What was the first movie? It was Force Awakens, right?
Yep.
Imagine this rewrite. Rey's on the ground, tooted up. She got sliced up by Kylo Ren. You see Finn fighting him. All of a sudden, he force pushes him. Kylo's like, what?
Yeah.
And the movie ends there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It would have been great.
Yeah.
It would have been great. And the thing that would have been the best part about it, John Boyega loves Star Wars.
That's what makes me so mad. It's like,
and they wrote his character to be this comic relief in all the other movies, and I'm like, dude, they tokenized his character into being just the silly black dude.
See, and here's where Hollywood really messes up.
Hollywood, sorry.
You do things in movies and you mess with characters you shouldn't touch. Then when you have an original black character like this, good. You destroy it. You completely
and
obliterate.
I'm not saying that I like his character just because he was black. I don't really care.
No. But his story,
they turned his character. They turned his character from a compelling character that I wanted to see into the joke black character.
Right.
We don't already have enough of those.
A stormtrooper that had a conscience that was like, yo, I can't do this. Dog, this was the perfect story.
J.J. Abrams had such a good setup that was fumbled by the second director, and I think by the last movie, because he directed the last movie. By the last movie, he couldn't fix it.
Right.
There was too much going on.
This is what made me so mad, and I think everybody saw this. They alluded to in that movie him having him being a Jedi. They alluded to that.
Well, they alluded to a lot of things in The Force Awakens that were completely negated in the second movie. And it's like the director for the second movie didn't even watch the first movie. They just were thrown in there and like, yeah, just make something.
Yeah, throw this together. Yeah, that'll be good. Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it real with you. Benefit of the doubt. J.J. Abrams is a great director, And I feel bad that he had to be a part of such a dumpster fire of a production.
It's
right? Because the first movie he created was great. The third one wasn't as bad as the second one, but the only reason it wasn't good was because he was trying to clean up the mess that happened all around him, and it was just like you're in a burning boat, so there's only so much you could do, you know.
So it was kind of like what happened to what was that movie? Oh yeah, the Justice League. How that was destroyed. I think it was kind of similar.
Don't look. You're gonna raise my blood pressure.
Okay. So wait. This Flash movie. Let's talk about it.
So, a few possibilities, right? James Gunn. I will say I trust James Gunn. I trust James Gunn's opinion, and I trust his adaptation of comic book movies and comic book shows. Right? He took the Suicide Squad, which horrible movie. Everyone hated it. Not one part of it that anybody liked. And the second movie, he made it.
It was good.
It was good. Amazing.
It
was a great movie.
Yeah.
And then the Peacemaker show was also amazing.
Yeah, I'm
right.
I like it when I'm surprised.
He
by
said
stuff like that.
The Flash is a great movie, and he's willing to let the convicted felon Ezra Miller still play the character. So it's got to be good. It's got to be crazy.
It must be good.
That's
sorry.
what
I'm thinking.
It's got to
if he wasn't willing to trash it, it's like this must be good.
If he's gonna keep somebody who went around terrorizing Hawaii for a whole year and a half, that movie's got to be great. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it must be.
Look, it's got to be great. It's
allegedly,
gotta be that good.
Allegedly, I don't know what Ezra Miller did. I don't have any of the. Yeah, I'm just saying for legal reasons. Allegedly.
Okay, yeah. Allegedly, terrorizing Hawaii.
Yeah,
with video evidence.
Right.
Allegedly.
So, I will say that when I saw the trailer, I was like, "Yo,
look,
this looks really good."
Though it was not like a very popular decision. I still don't agree with it. I understood. I understood the Henry Cavill thing. Sometimes you gotta make the hard look, like Thanos said. Hardest choices require the strongest wills.
Thanos might have been right.
He had to
think about
as much
this.
as it pains me.
Think about
as
this.
Much as it pains me. This is the perfect setup to restart the DC universe.
Think about this.
Cinematically, at least.
If they would have let Thanos have his way, they wouldn't have a problem with Kang.
Well, yeah, that's why I was connected. I think I don't know. We'll have to come back to this when I see Ant-Man.
Yeah. I'm
gonna see it. I'll see it tomorrow.
You're gonna enjoy it. You're gonna enjoy it if you do. So, what I was gonna say is, you already know what I was excited about when I saw that Flash trailer when Michael Keaton showed up and he said, "I am Batman." I was like, "Oh." Here's what's funny: I could see Michael Keaton playing Batman again after watching that. Yeah, no. I could see it.
No.
I could see it.
No.
Yes. Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
Can't do it.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Disagreeing.
Nah.
Look, the time of the goofy Batman is gone.
No. It wouldn't be a goofy Batman though. Watch that trailer again. Just watch it one more time.
So I'm gonna say this, right? Here's my hypothesis on what's gonna happen. Tim Burton,
bring him back. It was a joke.
No, this is crazy. So I think that after Flashpoint, they're gonna do a restart of the universe, which makes sense.
I
think it's the perfect circumstances.
Event. Yeah,
exactly. It's the perfect circumstances in which for them to build up a new universe. And they're gonna get a new Batman actor because they have a Batman show or not Batman, a Batman movie with him and Damian Wayne coming at some point in time, and also a Batman movie solo.
So the Batman 2 has been greenlit.
Yeah, well, that's a separate universe.
It is, like but I'm just saying.
It'll still be dope though. It starts filming in November.
Yeah, that's getting ready to be fire.
It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah,
I'm getting my tickets now.
Let me not say. I don't know what it's gonna do and or not do.
Well, I was right about the last one, so.
No, I want it to be amazing, and I think it will be, but I'm not gonna jump the gun. Before we'll see.
I think it'll be cool to see a Robin finally on the silver screen because we have never seen that.
We did, but this is before
George Clooney doesn't count. So no,
it doesn't. No, I'm agreeing with you. You already know.
Count.
To this day, for those who don't know, to this day, I do not like George Clooney as an actor because of the terrible thing he did in playing Batman. Freeze.
There's
certain actors He shouldn't have agreed to that. He should have said, "I can't play Batman. I'm not the guy for this." Like that was outside his acting scope. I'm sorry.
He was not that guy.
Yeah, he was not that guy. Val Kilmer actually did a decent job as Batman. It was it's a goofy movie. It was just goofy. It
was like the G. Willikers Bat. Look, I think I don't know who they're gonna get. They could get. I will say Jensen Ackles would be a good Batman because he already voices Batman in a lot of the animated stuff, and his Batman voice is pretty good.
We'll see. I think they're gonna flush out the Batman story, even though it's in a separate universe. I think they're gonna flush that out before they move on with another Batman. Personally, which I think is the smart move. You don't want to. You got to realize, me and you as comic fans can keep up with certain things, but when you start fragmenting too much, you're gonna lose the audience.
Yeah,
it's gonna be too
people
many
were
different
talking.
things.
People were talking, saying they should put the what am I trying to say? The Batman universe into like the DCEU. I'm like, I think it's a bad idea.
I think
keeping those things separate is a better idea.
I don't think they have to. I think with Flashpoint, I don't think they have to. Flashpoint, look, this gives a unique opportunity for them to fix. But here's my biggest problem with DC. How you fumble Wonder Woman? That first Wonder Woman movie was
that movie was amazing. I ain't even see the second movie. I saw the reviews and I was like, I'm gonna say my mom.
Look, let me tell you, I watched that movie and
how bad was that CGI?
It was terrible.
To give them credit, they did release it during COVID, which I think was a horrible idea.
It was
because there was a lot of movies that stopped filming because the Batman stopped filming when that happened too.
It was terrible. It wasn't the CGI was terrible. I could have got past that if the plot didn't suck so bad. That plot was terrible.
I keep thinking I want to watch it, but I'm like, do I want to put myself through this for 2 hours?
It's like the Eternals. I still haven't watched it. Not going to.
No. I remember I saw that movie. I walked out the theater feeling like I just got robbed. I was like, dude.
Yeah, I'm not going to.
Crazy.
But yeah, how did they fumble that? How did they fumble that first Wonder Woman? I was just like, now I have heard, what was it, last week, that people walked out of a screening of the upcoming Aquaman movie, which I was like,
Well, because Amber Turd's in it.
Well, I'm not gonna attack her. I don't know nothing about her or what she has going on.
That's okay. That's fair. That was my fault.
Yeah,
but a lot of people are a little disgruntled by the fact that
they kept her in the movie.
They kept her in the movie. Yeah,
I'm not. I'll be honest with you. I'm not mad at them keeping her in the movie.
Yeah, I mean,
people do things. People gonna do things you don't like, and they're gonna make movies. It is what it is.
But I think it's because they took someone else out of the movie.
No, it's because Johnny Depp got removed from movies, so they're like, "Yo, you removed him from movies on false allegations, and now this person that accused him falsely gets to keep their movie." But again,
but we don't have to get into that conjecture. It's
right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't. Yeah, I don't. That doesn't really. The only thing I'm concerned about when I walk into the theater, it can be a bunch of actors that I disagree with on social and political issues. I don't care. Is the movie good? That's it.
I think the fact that people are walking out is a little telling.
It was probably it might be bad, which that sucks.
I mean, the last movie wasn't.
It wasn't the greatest. I'm not gonna say. Yeah, I'm not gonna say it was the greatest.
But it wasn't good either. It was.
I think it was a good movie. I think it was a good movie. That first,
I give it like a 6.
I would give that first Aquaman. I'd give it a B-. I'd give it a
plus.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I don't think it was terrible. I don't think it was a terrible movie.
My thing is, in my head, I'm like, would I watch this movie again? And if it's not a no, it's a C. Or if it's not a yes, it's a C.
Yeah, not always for me. There's certain movies I really enjoyed. I don't particularly enjoy watching a movie over again, personally.
Oh, see, I get crazy with it. There's movies that I've seen over 100 times.
I'm trying to think of a movie I could watch. Neverending Story is a movie I could watch.
Neverending Story. Again. One movie that I recently watched, Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind.
That's a great movie.
So there's something that I noticed in the movie, right? So when he keeps going back to the memory of her in the bookstore, you see the titles of the book start disappearing the further the movie goes on. Crazy. Yeah, that movie I've been watching a lot. La La Land's a really good movie too. I've been rewatching that. Oh, Interstellar.
I could watch. Yes.
Interstellar.
Yo, so
beautiful.
Let me say this. Would you be good with a sequel to Interstellar?
No.
Okay, expound.
I think that they wrapped up all the story points that needed to be wrapped up, and there's not really much story to tell aside from like if you want to see them repopulate a whole planet and build a colony. But I'm like, I feel like exploring the unknown is a little more interesting than Planet Simulator, you know?
Okay. I get it. If they're gonna make a sequel, better now than wait 10, 20 years down the road than try to redo it, because you know that's what's gonna happen.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Blade Runner.
Okay, you proved my point. I don't know if
Blade Runner 2049 was good. No. In the podcast. I'm done. I don't know this man.
Is this my co-host?
That is Blade crazy. Runner you did 24? Not like that movie? What is wrong with you? Oh my goodness. I don't know this man. What was bad about the movie?
All right, we can wrap up the reviews. We're done, folks. Nothing more going on here. Nothing to see. No, I'm just messing. It really wasn't that bad.
I was like, oh my god, my brain exploded.
I typically don't like remakes of old movies, like Total Recall. I'm like, let the movie go.
I know a lot of people didn't like the remake though, but the thing about 2049 was it was actually decently good. And I know people who were really big fans of the original movie that liked the new one. Yeah, and it was a good movie because I've seen both of them and they were both good. It's decent. The storytelling was amazing. The acting,
it's alright.
Interlinked.
To mention Interstellar and then bring that movie behind it, I think is
no. I think it's fair. Interstellar is like a 10. That's like 9.5.
No. Now you're bugging.
Yeah. Nope.
Nah, you're bugging.
Nope. I'm sorry. You're wrong. Bugging. It's okay to be wrong.
I'll have to rewatch that movie because that's not what I saw.
What was so bad about the movie?
It wasn't super trash.
What did you not like about it?
So this is the problem. And this is what I'm saying. This is the problem for me. A remake is like rewatching a movie I've already seen. The remake might be decent, but I'm not a huge fan.
It wasn't a remake. It was a sequel.
I'm not a huge fan of that. I feel like this is why. Imagine.
So you're telling me
the
Back to the Future sequel was bad because it was a remake.
No. You're
talking about when they make a movie later in the future?
Yes. No, not just that. How many years removed between the first and this one?
36.
That's my problem.
So that's a stupid. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's
No.
dumb.
That's always that's always been my problem. Even with the Star Wars movies, the problem I've always had is why did you wait so long to come out with this movie?
Sometimes it's stuff that's out of their control. They can't really control that.
Matrix. You should have just let it die because that was
Matrix, different because that movie was actually bad. 2049 was a good movie. I think the reason you don't like it is because of the time thing, but it's a good movie.
Yeah.
I think your reasons for not liking it aren't founded in how good or bad the movie was. It's just like your aggravation with the time frame.
That's probably true. It's trash.
That's why my brain is exploding. I'm just like, what?
Trash.
Wild.
Super trash.
Wild. Yeah, that's why Wildcat sucks.
But no, I just don't like that. I don't like movies that they come out with years removed, like 20, 30 years removed from the original movie.
Fair.
I don't like that.
But it's a good way to introduce a newer generation to that movie.
But that's why I brought up if they're gonna do a second Interstellar, because I can tell you what's gonna happen. Your kids are gonna be watching an Interstellar movie and you're gonna go, this blows. Why did they wait this long to come out with this movie if they were gonna do it? This sucks.
So that's only if the movie's bad. That's the thing. I think you're in your head. You're like the movie's bad because it took so long. But I'm like,
I'm being over the top on purpose. Yeah, I'm being over the top on purpose.
Yeah, it's bad. But if it takes long and it's a good movie, I don't care.
Yeah, I just don't like that. It's like, yeah. I really have a problem with that. So what do you think about the Lord of the Rings series, Amazon Prime? I haven't watched it.
Watched it.
Okay,
I'm not watching that.
No thoughts on that.
I'm not wasting my time. Look, there's been
Okay,
so
what
many
else?
shows I've heard things about. I
What
started
about
watching.
the Game of Thrones show? I haven't watched that either.
So I like one more episode. It's a good show. It's a decent show.
Is it?
I liked it. Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
I think it was a good show.
I didn't know if I would be interested in knowing what happened before because you kind of already.
It's very disconnected, but there are certain things that are mentioned in Game of Thrones that are talked that like happen.
Yeah, that's
so
what
I
I'm
think
saying.
it would be an interesting thing to watch.
Yeah,
it's cool.
It's connected in that it's what happened before, but yeah, I may get on board and watch that. Any new series that you're watching like on Amazon Prime or Hulu or Netflix?
There's a movie I started watching called Sound of Metal. That's really decent. It's about this metal drummer who loses his hearing. And he's like a former drug addict, and he's trying to like deal with like having to learn how to sign and not being able to hear anymore, so he can't play drums. It's actually really decent.
Oh
really good.
Man, that sounds like a very interesting movie.
Yeah, it's
whatever
very
happened.
cerebral.
This just shows you this movie might have came out and I completely missed it. Whatever happened to that Marvel? It was like an X-Men movie that was supposed to be like horror flick, like part horror flick, like
Dark Phoenix.
No, it wasn't Dark Phoenix. It was like X-Men movie based in like an asylum or something like that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it was maybe it didn't come out. Maybe
did it come out during Halloween?
No. Let me see. I
don't know what you're talking about. I think you're having an old man moment right now.
Yeah, I might be. X-Men. Because I remember hearing about X-Men movie. This X-Men movie was supposed to come out, and I don't remember. Maybe it never got released. Which is probably
I don't know what
good.
you're talking. You said that, and I was like, no bells rang. I was like, what? Or crickets?
Oh, was it New Mutants?
Oh, I forgot about that show. That show came out years ago. I never watched that.
That was 2020.
Yeah, that was like 3 years ago.
You said years ago, like it was eons.
That's 3 years ago.
That's not
Look,
eons.
If that show was a baby, it'd be in kindergarten right now. That's a long time.
Yeah. Let's see the New Mutants.
But yeah,
this was it. This was it. This is the one I was talking about. The New Mutants, where they were like in some kind of asylum or something like that.
Yeah, I never watched that show. There was a point in time where
was this a show?
It was just releasing.
I think this was a movie.
Shows.
No, this was a movie. Wasn't
there was a point in time? No, it was a show. I remember it was on Fox. Because I remember there was a point in time where Marvel was just releasing shows. Like Cloak and Dagger was good until season 2. And then there was Runaways, good until season 2. And I didn't even watch New Mutants. I was like, I'm not wasting.
Yeah. Yeah.
For some reason, none of them were canon. I was like, what's the point?
For some reason, I thought this was going to be a movie. Maybe it was going to be a movie, and then they released it as a show. Which is probably more than likely what happened.
I remember seeing clips, and I was like, that's all right.
New Mutants. I'm looking for it now. Yeah, here it goes on. Why did they say? Sorry, they're calling it a comedy movie. What?
Yeah, because it was funny how bad it was.
That's crazy, but it's saying movie though, not series.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. So anyway,
maybe it was like a straight to TV movie. I don't.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably that sounds about right.
I never watched it.
Yeah. So I'm hearing rumblings of Fantastic Four and Doctor Doom in the Marvel.
If they don't introduce a Doctor Doom movie playing MF Doom, I'm rioting outside the movie theater.
That's facts.
They gotta introduce it playing a Doom song. Listen,
that's
Marvel.
Facts.
If it's anything y'all do in Phase 5, let it be that.
Are you interested in the new Daredevil?
Oh yeah.
And you
not even a question.
You hear Punisher is gonna be in it, right?
I did. So what makes me excited for it, right? What was the dude? John Bernthal said he's not gonna come. I'm not gonna say exactly what he said because he was cursing, but he's not gonna come back as Punisher if they some wordify him, right? And I was like, that's fair. He understands the character. Cool.
Right.
So if he's coming back, that means it getting down to business.
Right. You got to get with it. Yeah, ain't no playing around.
It's fun to be crazy.
I think it's great that they brought Daredevil into the
616.
Yeah, because he in my opinion, he is a character that, because he's already had the show, I get it. Character actors do not want to be typecasted and play, a character for so long. As a geek, if I was an actor, I'd be like, look, I'll sign on to play this character forever as long as y'all pay me.
Henry Cavill type beat.
Yeah, I don't care. Just pay me. Pay me and I'll play this character forever. I'll ride this thing till the wheels fall off.
Well, Henry Cavill actually likes the characters he plays. Like oh my goodness. Did you hear what happened where the writer for The Witcher was talking mad crap about Henry Cavill?
No, I didn't.
She called him annoying. She said his passion for wanting to play Geralt was annoying.
Wow.
I'm pissed. I'm like, are you kidding me?
That just shows you that modern creators don't have respect for the source material in which they handle.
That just disappointed me so much because I know Henry Cavill just really loves The Witcher. And that's why he wanted to play Geralt. And he literally badgered his agents for months trying to get him to get that part. And then he badgered the writer for months. And the writer was like, yeah, so him pressing me about it forced me to write the script. I'm like, dude, what?
This Henry Cavill.
Are you for real right now?
Yeah. Like, this the geek.
Sick.
The geek that all geeks respect.
Henry Cavill, king of the geeks.
Right.
I salute. Look, Henry Cavill used to be, people don't know, Henry Cavill's a giant nerd. The reason is, he used to be fat. He got bullied in school. So he's one of us. Doesn't matter if he's, perfectly sculpted, just like a Greek god. He's one of us. He's one of us.
He is my people. So what do you think about this interaction that happened between Michael B. Jordan and
I think it is hilarious.
So I take no joy.
I take no joy. As far as my morals go, I don't really I don't agree with it, but I understand.
No, I
get it.
So wait. Back up. I'm not saying he did anything wrong. Because when you look at it, he addressed it and he was like, nah, I heard what you said.
Talk about the corny kid?
Yeah, I heard what you said. He was just letting it be known that, hey, look, I heard you.
Because there's a lot of people that forget the thing, like especially getting bullied, right? Like in your younger years, you remember that. They forget easily. That's another day for them. But that's something that sticks with you internally, and they just act like it never happened. And then you see them and they switch up. You're like, oh, it's really good.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah.
Crazy.
That was an interesting. No,
I thought it was hilarious. Yeah. Look,
I was like, I wonder if he's seen. I was like, I'm pretty sure.
And the thing about it is, she called him corny on her podcast as well.
So
and then wrote an article about calling him corny.
So from what I hear, it was one of the co-hosts on a podcast that actually started the conversation.
They started, but she said that.
Yeah. I'm not saying she didn't say it, but I just out of fairness, I don't think she was leading the conversation.
Well, the thing about it is, obviously, she might be a different person now, but I thought the interaction itself was
it was interesting,
perfect.
Yeah,
because now she used to call him corny for bringing his headshot into school and stuff like that, and now he's this famous actor producer. She's like, oh my god, Michael B. I'm like, man.
And the look on his face was classic. He was just like, I got you. I'll be your Huckleberry.
Corny kid, right? That's crazy. I gotta look, man.
Oh, that was hilarious.
He the man for that. That was hilarious.
Pretty crazy. Yeah, that was pretty interesting. So on that note, I will say I don't really have much more to address unless you have something to say in closing.
I have something next week
in the geek space. What do you have to say?
Something next to the people in the geek space. Live long and prosper, and take this. It's dangerous to go alone.
There you go, geeks. Thanks for joining us.